Hello, Badgers, and happy homecoming. I'm Sarah Schutt, the Executive Director of the Wisconsin Alumni Association, and I am so pleased to welcome all of you to our first ever virtual homecoming fifth quarter celebration. Before we get started, I do want to take a moment and acknowledge that the land on which our beautiful university rests has been home to people for more than 12,000 years. The university is growing in community and cooperation with the 12 First Nations of Wisconsin. And to that end, we want to acknowledge the sovereignty of the land to the Ho-Chunk people. Tonight is a special night. It is definitely not the way that we expected to be celebrating Homecoming 2020. In fact, right this minute, we ordinarily would be all lined up, getting ready to start the parade, bundled up and ready to greet the crowds along State Street. That's not to be, but we Badgers have learned to adjust during this last 8 months and to find ways to continue to feel a sense of community, pride, and spirit. And that's why we're here tonight. Even though we're doing homecoming a little bit differently, what matters is the reason for it, and that is to celebrate ourselves as a full Badger community. We're so glad that you could be with us to do that. The best part about starting like this is that we get to choose all the terrific guests and programs that we get to share with you tonight. So we have a wonderful program. We'll be seeing from the UW Marching Band and its director, Pompey. We will have Charlie Berens, who you know from the Manitowoc Minute, and we're gonna end the program with a very special rendition of Varsity from our dear alumnus, André De Shields. But first, to get us started, there is no better way to do that than with music and with Bucky. I'm going to invite you all to join along at home. Don't be shy. Go ahead and sing. And do you want to be a Badger? Come along with me. What a great way to start off our celebration tonight. Now, 2020 is a scrambled year, so it is weird that we're doing the fifth quarter before the first quarter, but that's the way we're rolling with it. And the UW band and our songs are such part of our tradition that we're very pleased to bring onto the show the person who is now responsible for helping lift our spirits with the UW Marching Band. It's my pleasure to introduce the Michael E. LeCrone, Director of Athletic Bands and Associate Director of Bands at UW-Madison, Dr. Pompey. Corey, welcome.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to see you, and happy homecoming to you and all the fans and alums of the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
And happy homecoming to you, Corey. We really appreciate you being here. Now, ordinarily, 2 hours or so before kickoff, you and the band would be really busy. What would usually be happening right now if you were at the game with the band?
Well, if I was at the game with the band, we would be getting ready to start pregame. We will have just finished the Badger Bash, which is a wonderful event, and then we get the party started with everyone in the stadium.
And how is the band doing right now, not having that opportunity this fall?
Well, truthfully, it's been a difficult semester for us because we do an activity that requires us to be together, and we like to perform and get the music out to the people. But we understand what's happening, and we are doing the best that we can.
Well, that's all we can ask, and I think that's all that all of us are doing right now is doing homecoming however we can manage it.
Absolutely.
Now, Corey, you and the band have been practicing, and so we know there has been music. We're really lucky that you have prepared something special for us tonight. Is that right?
That is correct.
All right. Well, why don't we take a look at what you've got for us? Wasn't that awesome? That felt so good to hear on Wisconsin and to see the actual band members playing music sort of live. Corey, thank you for those efforts to get that song put together for us. How on earth did you accomplish that?
Well, it was a little bit of a task. We are only able to meet with 25 people at a time. So each of those groups had to go through the process of recording on Wisconsin, and it had to be as close to perfection as possible. And then we go through the process of putting the videos together, putting the audios together, and making sure that everything lines up, which takes a considerable amount of time as well. And once those things are done, this is the product that you see.
It really was incredible. It was so interesting to see all the little chunks of people across the screen. I found myself thinking, is it more difficult to do what you did virtually or more difficult to teach the band a new routine and a new song?
That's a good question, Sarah. I'll take all 300 of us together at the same time any day.
I have to agree with you there. It was glorious to hear the marching band, but I think all of us wish we were in Camp Randall with you right now listening to pregame. So because you're not,
it was with me too, yeah.
Because you're not there, and you're used to always being in the stadium and on the field for football games, Corey, how are you going to spend this evening and enjoy the game?
I am going to sit back, relax, just like many of you will be doing. And I'm going to cheer the team on and watch us win, and not just win, watch us win big.
Now, it was that the band did the songs. There are many other favorite songs that people have that are part of the fifth quarter. I would love for our guests who are watching, go ahead in the chat and put some songs in there. What's your favorite UW Marching Band song? And then my question for you, Corey, is, can we expect more recording to help get us through until we can see the band live?
Well, we would love to do more videos like this. What we need in order to do more videos is great weather for the rest of the semester. So if you can bring that to us, we can bring you more music.
We will do our best. Sure. And I to the songs, and clearly there are a lot of people who have a lot of love for the UW Marching Band. So Corey, any idea what the band is going to be doing tonight? Will they all have their instruments ready to play like they would if it was a real game?
I wish I could say that they will be doing that, but I must confess they won't. They'll be experiencing the game just like everyone else, and all that entails, I'm sure.
Well, we're hearing from our guests that Swingtown and Varsity are favorite songs, so hopefully we'll be able to hear from the band again soon. Corey, until we're able to see each other in person and hear the band in person, stay well. I hope the students stay well. Thank you for being with us and providing us that On Wisconsin treat, and go Badgers.
Thank you so much, and on Wisconsin.
We love our UW marching band any time of year. During homecoming week, it's particularly special. And we have another special tradition during homecoming week I want to make sure that you know about. We've been celebrating all week, and for the last 3 days, we've been celebrating our annual Fill the Hill event. Now, this event commemorates the special prank that Leon Bergeron and the Pail and Shovel Society played in the fall of 1979. They flocked the hill with 1,008 flamingos. And what we do is we take that tradition and have brought it to the current time, and we use it as a way to encourage alumni to support UW-Madison. So their Fill the Hill campaign has been going on. It ends at 6 o'clock Central Time tonight. So that's really in just about 49 minutes it will be ending. If you haven't gone on uwflamingos.com yet, you should take a quick break and do that, or multitask while you're watching this program and see all the fun, the pictures, and all of the comments that are there on the website. You can also have the opportunity to give to an area of the university you're passionate about, and you can share your photos and your memories on that site too. So we really hope that you take advantage of that homecoming, that new homecoming tradition during our time. Well, our next guest is a very special person. You know him as the host of the Manitowoc Minute, and he also is an Emmy Award-winning journalist and a comedian. It's my pleasure to welcome Charlie Berens. Charlie, hello.
Sarah, how are you? It's just me and Bucky back here. I duct tape him under the tree, so he's good. He shouldn't be falling. That's some strong duct tape, I'll tell you that right now.
Well, that duct tape, we know how essential that is.
Absolutely.
And Charlie, I forgot to mention the very most important thing about you is the fact that you also are a UW grad.
Yeah, UW grad, graduated back in 2009. It was a wonderful time, except for the economy. That's another story. But no, it was real fun.
Charlie, a lot of us who were at the Rose Bowl had such a great time seeing you during the Rose Bowl program. And I know that during this COVID time, you have shared a lot of your programs online, and that has done a tremendous amount to lift people's spirits. So I want to thank you for that.
Oh, but thanks for watching. It takes two to tango, or a couple to tree, but you know how it goes.
Indeed. So tell us, Charlie, what else have you been doing during COVID? Have you picked up any new hobbies, or have you started crafting?
Oh, well, very kind of you to ask. I've been working on my crochet. It's been going okay. That rhymed. I'm not a poet, but I also got some binoculars. So I've been watching some birds, but honestly, I mostly got squirrels. You put some feed in the feeders, and then them squirrels get in there and they says, "Hey, birds, I'm going to eat all this before you fly over here." So, I'm working with that. I set up a little thing with some oil, so it at least makes it harder for them to get up to the bird feeder, okay? So that's a pro tip for any of you out there trying to make it harder for the squirrels to take your seed. I got to get to the Fleet Farm and get more bird seed. That's a good reminder. Thanks for that, Sarah.
So oiling your feeder, maybe our guests who are watching could add some of their best tips for squirrel prevention in the bird feeders as well. I would love to know, because those squirrels, they go through that feed like crazy. I
know. I would like to know too. I will also say a slinky on the pole helps too, and it's fun to watch through the binoculars. So yeah,
well, that would create some good video for your show, I imagine.
Yeah, I've been thinking about getting a squirrel cam. That might be the next big investment. So I'll let you know on that. I'll give you an update for sure.
There you go. So squirrel prevention and crocheting. Any other hobbies or anything else you've been doing with yourself during COVID?
Yeah, I've been playing some. You know what? I've been working on my buck call. You want to hear it?
I would love to.
Yeah, that's a buck in heat. Now, that's a buck that swallowed a duck. So I've been working on it. I'll have more as time goes on. Give me time though. The rut is almost on though, so I'm preparing.
Well, you will be prepared. It sounds like. So speaking of Buck, look at how I'm going to do this transition here. I saw in your video that you got a COVID puppy named Buck, right?
Oh yeah, Buck. Yeah. He's around here somewhere. He's a squirrely little guy. He doesn't quite resemble a buck or a deer size-wise. He's kind of a little dude. Yeah, but toss him over here. Yeah, there you go. He looks more like here. I'll show you. Come here, Buck. Oh, hey there, guy. Okay, so here's Buck. As you can see, he's part terrier, and then we don't know the other part. Oh, gotta cover your parts.
Yoda?
Part Yoda. Yoda was his father. His mother was a terrier. So there you go. Okay. So Buck, say hi to the people. Say hi to them. Go on. Say hi.
No. Buck has been.
I told you, people can't.
Buck has been helping you. Buck's been helping you get the word out about the importance of voting. Is he still helping you do that?
Yeah. No, Buck is from Texas. Okay, so Buck, can you tell him about the voting guy? Oh, do you have the hiccups, Buck? Do you have the? Oh, okay, that was the French kiss. Sorry about that. Buck's got a Southern accent. So here he says, "Hey there." Oh, Buck, what's going on there, guy? Oh, I think he's got the hiccups. I'm gonna let him go hiccup down here. But the bottom line is, no, Buck, that's a pom-pom. See, you can't get there. He starts eating this, we're gonna have multicolored poo in the backyard. But anywho, Buck's general rule on voting is basically this. We got the early voting starting now. Okay, so get out there. Oh, Buck just hit the table. Okay, anyway, fine. We're fine. It's not an earthquake. Okay.
It's live TV. It's live TV, people.
But early voting has started, so get out there and vote. Democracy dies in the darkness, as they says. And, the more democracy works, the less brandy you got to put in your old-fashioned. So, if you want to say brandy, start voting.
So let's talk a little bit about brandy for a minute, because you often have a lot to say about brandy, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on brandy and the importance of brandy in Wisconsin traditions. What are your thoughts on that? And do we want to have less brandy?
Well, and it is funny that I did say less brandy, because on the same time, Wisconsin consumes most of the world's brandy, but a recent report came out that says 50% of the world's brandy is bought right here in Wisconsin. And to that, I say, Wisconsin, we're slacking. Okay, pick it up. Okay, let's figure it out. So yeah, and I like to do a brandy old-fashioned. Now, some people says, you put whiskey in your old-fashioned. To that, I says, go back to Illinois. But, when you're pouring brandy in your old-fashioned, it's very important, 4 fingers tall, I say, that could just be the Catholic in me. But, you do that, and then a cherry in there and an orange, okay? But you don't muddle the rind. All right, if you muddle the orange rind, yeah, that's problematic. Okay, you will get stabbed by a fork. Okay, and my grandpa taught me that. Okay, and there's only been a few flesh wounds in the family because people are careful not to muddle that orange rind. So there you go.
So you do muddle, but not the rind. I got it. I'm gonna have to take note.
You muddle everything, but be very careful around that rind. Okay, so that's on. But you absolutely do muddle. Yeah.
Well, I would love to know from our guests if they want to share in the chat other brandy old-fashioned secrets, if they want to share their best and brightest there. Now,
sweet. I see it in the chat. Tracy's all about the sweetness, which is fine. And I kind of go sour. I use the Jolly Good sour stuff. Okay, so I like to live a little. And Tracy, nothing against the sweetness, but everyone's got their own deal. So
yeah. Charlie, we're all about tradition here. It's homecoming week. It's homecoming show. And I would love to know, and everybody watching, what are some of your favorite game day traditions?
Oh, well, I got a lot of them. I like, tailgating, obviously, having a brat or two, and then I like going on tuba hunt. If you can find the tuba players going around, that's my favorite thing. You can hear them coming before you see them. It's kind of like thunder before the lightning, so the tubas are there, and then the lightning is, the beer you gotta drink after you see them. And that's the game I like to play. I'm not promoting anything. That's just how I. So,
Well, the fact you can hear the tubas first maybe makes it a little easier when you're having your beers in old fashions. So I like that game.
Yeah,
Set up for success there.
Absolutely.
Charlie, on your videos, I wonder, we just heard from the UW Marching Band. We know that our fans have some favorite songs. Are there any Badger songs that you know that you could play on your harmonica for us?
On harmonica, well, I brought that here too. Let's see here. And honestly, that's not a Badger song. It's just the only song I know on a harmonica. I do know this too, though. That's a choo-choo train. So, you know, I got that going for me. And if you combine them, this is really fun. And that's what I call, you know, a buck and a harmonica. Horny buck and a harmonica. Different situation, though. That's a biological thing, though. You know, that this time of year, that's kind of. I had to go for that low-hanging fruit, and boy, it didn't taste too good. Anywho.
Well, hours of fun there for sure. And as we're saying, it's COVID, it's scrambled 2020. That could pass for a Badger song. It's all about the spirit, right? All about the spirit and the tradition. Tradition's
got to start somewhere. So get your harmonica and your buck call.
There you go. So predictions this year for the Badgers, for the Packers. What are we gonna? What is it gonna look like?
I'm thinking Rose Bowl, Super Bowl. Rose Bowl, Super Bowl. That's it. You know, I said it here first. So, you know, if it happens, you say, Charlie, yeah, time machine, and that's accurate. I do. I've seen the future. It looks brighter than 2020.
Brighter. That's good news for all of the fans. You know, I wonder if our guests watching have any questions for you. I know that one of our friends wanted to know, when you're talking about a Friday fish fry, do you eat the buttered rye bread or do you leave it on your plate? Be true.
You know, and that's a fantastic question. Of course, you're eating the buttered rye bread, but before you eat that, you got to spread at least 2 of them butter packets onto that rye bread if the rye bread is of that size. Okay, now if you get a bigger piece of rye bread, you're going to need some more butter packets. Okay, so use your best judgment on that, but you can never go wrong with more butter. Okay, and again, I learned that from my grandpa Bob. I saw him take a donut and put a square of butter along the entire long john. I was like, wow, this man is my hero. So
that's commitment right there. Spoken like a true Wisconsinite. Well, Kevin from Wanakee would like to know, since we can't watch the Badger football team in person at Camp Randall this season, do you have any advice for recreating the game day experience at home?
Absolutely, and that's a wonderful question. So you get all your buddies together and you says, hey, all of yous, you know, FaceTime me, okay? And then you duct tape their faces to the top of a fishing pole or a gun case you got laying around, and then all your buddies are just sitting there hanging out, you know, all together. You know, it's a really nice feeling. And then if you want to ignore them, you just turn them off. So, you know, you lose your couch privileges. You just get your iPad turned on. That's a nice way to do it.
Best of both worlds there. Charlie, Jeff wants to know, what are some things from Wisconsin that you can't believe have not caught on in the rest of the country?
Wow. Well, that's a great question. You know, I think cheapers. Well, I will say that the old fashioned is certainly something, and the usage of brandy, not to go back to that, but also our shoveling techniques. We got the best shoveling techniques around here, you know. What else? Oh, there's you know, fish in a jar. You know, that's a big thing. You know, they get the fish in the jar. That's a Thanksgiving classic. Absolutely. And you know, you really put me on the spot here because I got to think about some others. I feel like, you know, I'm letting you. Oh, sheep's head. You know, you got to play a lot of sheep's head. You know, I'm sick of going to Las Vegas. And that all they want to do is play craps or blackjack. I spent a long time looking for a sheep's head table in Vegas, still haven't been able to find it. So they got, or euchre, you know, whatever you're deal is. I'm more of a sheepshead guy myself, but I'll do them both. Euchre too, I could say that. So yeah, those are just a couple 2-treat things. So
those are great traditions. We were talking about fish fry a minute ago. Tracy would love to know how you like to finish yours off: cherry pie or apple pie?
Tracy, thank you for that question. I will go cherry pie, and that is just a personal preference. You're not wrong if you go apples. You got Prairie du Chien versus Door County. Which do you pick? They're both right. So you can do whatever there. And yeah, I think that's a really nice way to finish it off. Absolutely, is the pie. Not everybody thinks that. Some people says cake. No, that's in Minnesota. Yeah.
Well, Fred would like to know how is the surfing in Manitowoc?
Fred, great question. Manitowoc, it's okay. All right. It's not the best, but you go down the beach a little bit to Sheboygan and you get some monster waves. I'm telling you that right now. Okay. So Sheboygan's really got the Gold Coast. Some people says Malibu. Sheboygan. Okay. Let me tell you. And you don't even need to wear a wetsuit because that's not how we do it here. We just go in there and surf until we get hypothermia. And that's when you're done. So.
Is it still surfing season? How late does surfing season go?
Well, yeah, it's surfing. I mean, honestly, I've surfed I've done it in summer. Right now is really good. Okay, right now in the spring, Lake Michigan just decides to get all hot and bothered and send some big old waves down this way. Coast. And West Coast is the best coast of Lake Michigan. Should be Lake Wisconsin. That's another thing that we don't need to get into now unless you want.
Charlie, a couple more questions. Sarah would like to know what you thought was the best place to study when you were on campus and the best Madison bar, and were they actually the same for you?
Yeah, they were the same for me. Thank you very much for asking that. Now, I did a few different things for studying. One was I did go to college library, okay, from time to time. But mostly what I was doing was watching, this is going to date me a little bit, but I was binge watching Lost on the computers on the second floor of college library. Okay. So I got a big coffee. I was like, I'm going to do work. I just ended up watching Lost. Okay. And then, bar wise, you go to Bratz. Okay. And that's a beautiful establishment. You can really, spread out and bring up your laptop or whatever and do a lot of work at Bratz. Plus they got a lot of beer and of course Bratz. And honestly, that's what I'd recommend. Do your studying at Bratz. You probably won't do well in your tests from what I've found, historically speaking, but that's neither here nor there. You're going to have a great time studying. You're really only going to study for about 3 minutes before you decide that it's time. Yeah.
Well, Charlie, I so have appreciated the time you've taken and how you have shared your special thoughts on things. Do you have anything that you want to add and share with our alumni and Badger fans and friends before we go?
Oh, sure. I always like to leave with some advice that, I learned when I was at the J School from Professor Friedland, who said, be skeptical, not cynical. So that's really good because, if you don't do that, the world gets crazy, and we're in a crazy world right now. So skepticism, not cynicism. Everyone go vote real quick once. Keep her moving. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Them deer in all seriousness are getting frisky right now and they're running around all willy-nilly. So please watch out for deer. And I do lack the emotional capacity to say I love you. So yes, that's how I says I love you. Okay.
Well, advice is be careful too. Watching with your deer call there. Don't be blowing that places you don't want deer to come.
No, they can't hear inside. I would never blow this out the window of my Corolla, though. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, man. Charlie, thank you so much for joining us tonight. All the best to you. Take care. And on Wisconsin.
On Wisconsin. Okay, real good. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, thanks so much again to Charlie for lifting our spirits here during our homecoming 5th quarter celebration. We have been hearing in the chat that there's a demand to hear On Wisconsin again. It's been so long since we experienced it. we can never get enough. So I will ask my team if you're ready to cue that up and have us hear another On Wisconsin before we move into the next segment. Thanks again to the UW Marching Band for that treat. And because it's feeling like fifth quarter, we would like to move to our time-honored tradition of Varsity. Now, just a word about our guest who is going to be performing that for us. André De Shields is a Tony Award-winning actor. He is a 1974 grad from UW-Madison, and he has been recently starring in the show Hadestown before the theaters in Broadway went dark. I had the great pleasure of meeting André last fall before COVID, when we could still go to the theater. I had the opportunity to deliver to him his very own hot off the press copy of On Wisconsin magazine, where he was featured on the cover with his Tony Award. And he graciously invited me backstage onto the stage of Hadestown, which was such a treat. He is truly a treasure of UW-Madison, and we're so grateful to him for his generous sharing of his time and his talent to bring us this very special rendition of the time-honored Varsity.
Thank you for that wonderful Wisconsin introduction, Sarah. And I wish all of you a happy and healthy homecoming. Unfortunately, as we would traditionally do, we can't be with each other personally. But that doesn't stop us from celebrating the resilience and the pride of all of my UW alumni, friends, and Badgers of all ages. You know, Badgers are all over the world, and we are united in our spirit for the love of the University of Wisconsin. I wish you all health and prosperity through the end of 2020 and into 2021. And now, it is my pleasure to sing us out with our school song, Varsity. It is the Friday night fifth quarter program, and we must do as we Badgers do. So, join me. Don't be shy. Stand up if you want. Swing those arms, you know when, and join me in singing Varsity. Varsity, varsity, you-ra-ra, Wisconsin. Praise to thee we sing. Praise to thee our alma mater. You-ra-ra, Wisconsin. rah, rah, Wisconsin. You rah, rah, Wisconsin. You rah, rah, Wisconsin.
Oh my gosh. Wow. What an incredible voice and what a generous and thoughtful man. Andre, thank you so much for sharing that with us. I want to let all of our guests know that this show is being recorded and it will be on our YouTube channel. So if you want to hear Andre sing Varsity again in that most moving way, you'll be able to do that, as well as hear from Charlie Berens and the band and all other parts of this program. Well, we've come to the end of our Homecoming Fifth Quarter program. I want to say deepest thanks again to the UW Marching Band, to Dr. Corey Pompey, to Charlie Berens, to André De Shields. I want to give a special shout out to my team at WAA who has worked so hard to provide a virtual homecoming experience. Mackenzie, Gia, Jake, Morgan, Caleb, Ellen, Colleen, I know I'm forgetting people. Brian, thank you to the staff who have just been terrific in helping keep our alumni network informed and connected. Now, even though we have the game tonight, and even though this program is nearing end, there still is a way that you can continue to celebrate homecoming. Tomorrow night, there's a very special concert that is being sponsored by athletics and that we're helping with. And this is the Red Live Social. Tomorrow night, Central Time, 7 p.m., featuring Eric Benet, Marsha Ambrosius, and Sean Stockman from Boys to Men. So you can tune in. You can find the link on our website, uwalumni.com. And we hope that you enjoy that special opportunity to end your homecoming week. The last thing I'll leave you with is that we have prepared a very special program that is going to drop next weekend to help fill that Motion W-sized hole in your heart. We know we can't be together and celebrate athletic traditions together and tailgate. So my dear friend and colleague, Jeff Wendorf, and I hit the roads the last few weeks to visit some iconic places on campus, talk to some special guests, and try to bring the athletic pregame traditions to you in your home. So you'll be staying at home in your favorite armchair, and starting next Friday evening, you'll be able to enjoy our program, Badger Huddle Armchair Pregames. There'll be a few shows, at least 3, that you can look forward to each Friday, and we hope you tune into that and that also helps lift your Badger spirit. Well, thank you again, everybody, for joining us for this program, for helping us celebrate homecoming in this way, and for keeping alive Badger spirit and community. I wish you all well. Enjoy the game. It's time to get going on some dinner and some pregame. All the best to you. Stay well, and on Wisconsin.